Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in the series between Squirtle versus Alive here on Cloud Kingdom. Squirtle spawning as the red Protoss player here on the bottom left hand side of the map. Red Protoss. Meanwhile, it is going to be against Alive, the blue Terran on the top right hand side of the map. Protoss versus Terran. So far, Alive has had a 2-0 lead in this series, and to be honest, I don't know how many games are in the series because there's multiple game 2s and multiple game 3s, and I wasn't quite sure how it all stacked up. I said this in game 1, but hopefully the series is interesting nonetheless, as the game is going to be getting underway. Alive opening up with a front door supply depot. Squirtle pretty much building the pylon rather close to home, not doing anything too out of the ordinary so far. And we'll see if Alive tries to change up his strategy. Alive's strategy versus Protoss recently has been going for a double Rax build and really faking that he is going to be going for a fast expansion. I believe this is really more of a metagame play because he knows a lot of the times when a Protoss player scouts out a barracks on the front door, he thinks to himself, alright, there's going to be a supply depot there, and eventually he'll build a command center inside his base and do a 1 Rax expand into a 3 Rax into double gas. But with Alive and Alive strategy of getting up a second barracks earlier, he's able to put down a lot of pressure if the Protoss player gets a little bit too greedy and too aggressive with his own expansion. We are seeing an assimilator now warping in. We are getting that gateway up as well. We should be getting up a cybernetics core. Warp gate tech should be coming in, as well as a probe now going to come around the corner and take a look around. So far, Squirtle has pretty much seen absolutely nothing. I don't see a second barracks, and now it will be up to Squirtle to try and find that second barracks. And if he can't find it, he has to actually assume that it is going to be a fast command center. And Alive playing a little bit more of the meta game this time around, but because of the previous 2 matchups, Squirtle's not 100% sure what his opponent is trying to do. You can see the command center is already being placed down here. There is 1 Marine now at the bottom of, or the choke point here. Will it be able to shoot away at that 1 probe is the key question, as the probe now still looking desperately for a barracks that doesn't exist. Warp gate tech now coming online, in addition to a stalker now being chrono boosted out. The stalker wants to shoo away that SCV, and that SCV just needs to run away once more. Command center is about 45-50% completed. We are going into that double Rax build. Most likely we will see double gas be placed down right after that. And now this is going to be straight up meta gameplay, and we'll see how Squirtle does fending against a standard gameplay Terran. Now, so far I haven't seen Squirtle really use Colossi against a Terran player who really favors a very heavy bio play, which is a bit of a surprise. You can see that Alive already getting up his 5th barracks, and with 5 barracks going up, and that really makes you wonder. Apparently Alive trying to take a play from the Marine King, just trying to train up a whole bunch of Marines and perhaps knock on the front door. I like this play, especially on this ramp, or on this natural expansion. The ramp or the choke point is extra wide. I believe it takes 4 force fields or 3 perfectly placed force fields in order to prevent any Marines from coming through or sneaking through that gap. And with that extra 1 force field, sentries often run out of energy and being able to fend off that attack. So Alive going to be in a very good position here. The Marines are still being trained up. 5 barracks, 5 barracks, 5 Marines at a time, still no gas. And with 5 Marines, how much damage can he truly, or 5 barracks, how much damage can he truly do? Probe walks in and walks into a Zelnaga tower and sees 6 Marines. That's always a very scary sight, as the SCV somehow able to slip through. He does see that there are a number of production buildings, but I don't believe he sees that robotics facility. Did the SCV spot the robotics facility? That is the question. Yes, it did, if he actually clicked on it. And he has to assume, if he doesn't click on it, most likely he will do a scanner sweep there momentarily, as we now see sentries down. The probe is coming back down over here. More Marines are coming in from across the map. 9 Marines now. That is not that good of a number, especially when going up against sentries and stalkers. The sentries will have guardian shields to reduce the amount of damage. Zealots now making their way over, and the zealot could fall. In comes some more zealots over here, and how much damage is going to be had as the guardian shield does come online. Beautiful force fields splitting up some of those units. One zealot barely able to survive, thanks in part to the additional armor from that guardian shield. And now the units are backing off again. More and more Marines are looking to come in, and here we go, another engagement. Probes coming off the mineral line, both sides battling it out. The Marines are stutter stepping their way back, and who is going to come out on top as the Marines take down one zealot, but more stalkers are reinforcing. The sentries are very expensive units, and they get taken down. Sentries very, very low. Is that low hit point sentry going to be able to run away? It looks like he will be able to do exactly that, as the Marines are now chasing down probes and getting a good amount of damage onto those probes themselves. The Marines still battling up against those stalkers. The Marines are now backing off, but 4 stalkers against these 7 Marines and more zealots coming in. I believe the stalkers will be able to finish off these Marines here, but who came out on top? Resources lost about the same, 37 SCVs versus 35 probes, as Marines are now wandering around the map. 3rd command center coming in from Alive, and that is a little bit of a dangerous move there. Placing down a command center at this point, we can see that Squirtle now following this up with double forge, and he's going to perhaps try to go into very, very heavy weapons upgrade. Sentries are now backing off. The Marine's going to walk straight in and take down many, many more probes, perhaps even take down a sentry or 2. It looks as though more units are getting destroyed there, and that final Marine does go down. Protoss losing slightly more, as we are now seeing at 36 compared to 44 food. Excuse me, 44 supply. Engineering bay is being placed down. We'll see what Alive is going to be doing next. We are getting into a quad bunkers on this front door. So with 4 bunkers on this front door, Alive should be very, very safe. Even unless we do go into a robotics bay with extended thermal lance research. Alive does not have a factory yet, and that means that we could potentially have 2 Colossi out with extended thermal lance range before there are even 3, or before there are even 4 Vikings in the field. How much gas is Squirtle sitting on? Squirtle is sitting on about 340 gas right now. He needs to get up all of his gas and make sure to saturate it fully. He is going to be chrono boosting out a Colossus and perhaps getting that extended thermal lance range. There you go. And this may have been the missing unit coming in from Squirtle. We are going into a starport with a reactor, though, so it really feels like Alive knows his timing in order to stay alive. And now, perhaps, if he trains up Metavacs, this is going to be that crucial point. If he trains up Vikings and doesn't train up Metavacs, he's not going to be able to keep his bio alive for very long. If he trains up Metavacs and doesn't train up Vikings, those Colossi with Sentry support is going to be able to simply destroy many of the Marines and the Marauders. Command Center now landing over here at the 3rd. Squirtle is looking to do a bit of a timing. He is still training up workers, though, now sitting on 46 compared to 55 SCVs. And is it going to be enough? More and more stalkers are being warped in. The Colossi do take a bit of time to build. It is being chrono boosted out, but even with 3 chrono boosts, it takes about 55 seconds to build there, or 58, I think, actually, if you are geeky and want me to do the math fully. The Marines and the Marauders are now going to be making their way over here, and the Observer still wandering around back and forth. 1 Colossus is already out. The 2nd Colossi going to be added. Extended thermal lance range about to be completed. We are going into another starport, and now we are going into Metavacs. And the Marines perhaps spot that Colossus is going to be the key question there, as the Marines and Marauders are off over here. We are going into ship upgrade. So yes, the Colossi were spotted, and now the Stalker is in a bit of trouble. 1 Stalker just absolutely destroyed and unable to do anything much of anything else. The Stalker is now trying to chase after those Marines. The Colossi are now making their way over. Is 2 Colossi, is this War of the Worlds army large enough to really break down this front door? More Stalkers now coming in from over here. SCVs now trying to transfer. SCVs knowing that they need to run away. Metavacs perhaps going to be going for a drop as the orbital command lifts off and lives to fight another day. There are a lot of gateways off here, so the gateways will still remain powered, as we now see a factory on the front door. Where is all the money being spent? That is going to be my next key question. There we go, a very large, let me go ahead and rewind that for just a second. A very large engagement now coming in. You can see that there's only one bunker on the front door. The other bunkers were salvaged. I thought they were perhaps destroyed as the Stalkers are now coming in. Stalkers are now going to come in here. Vikings are in the air. The Vikings, however, have to deal with Stalkers, Sentries, and Guardian Shields. The bunker quickly gets taken down as the Colossi could easily focus down all of those SCVs. Workers are getting destroyed alive, really in a bad situation as SCVs are getting eaten up left and right. 26 workers killed already. And with more workers potentially getting taken down, this is not good for Alive. Alive now down by 20 supply. The numbers keep on dropping. The Colossi now able to regenerate those shields. And with the Guardian Shield and those Colossi simply walking forward, Alive is in a bit of trouble. He now needs to get in even more Vikings. Now double training up Vikings. But is it going to be enough as the Colossi able to make their way in? SCVs now coming in off the mineral line once more. SCVs now need to perhaps do a little bit of a flank, but those Colossi could just back off, head to the bottom of the cliff, and still survive. Alive now down to 42 supply, and I believe the GG will be coming in soon. However, there is a drop now in the main base down over here. Reinforcements not coming in. Warp Gate now trying to get in more units. Both of these pylons were taken down. Marines and Marauders, both sides taking in a lot of damage. 37 versus 59 workers killed. 2 Stalkers now showing up. Zealots now warping into the field. And with the medevac gone, we'll see what's going to happen. There is the GG. 2 battles taking place all at the same time. And I really want to thank IPL for releasing these replays. A really good game between Squirtle and Alive here on Cloud Kingdom. Squirtle now down 2-1. Stay tuned for Game 4.